everybody. Would you like to know how to resolve conflict in your marriage without losing your temper? Wow, what a great question. Have you ever been in a fight with your spouse? Have those fights ever gotten out of control? Have you ever gotten really angry and then you probably said something or maybe even did something that you regret later? Maybe broke something or, said something that really hurt your spouse's feelings? Well, guess what? I believe that you can have a productive conflict resolution conversation without getting angry, without losing your temper. Hi, I'm Kelly Dupay. I'm a pastor, police chaplain, marriage coach, and the author of this book, which is called Turn It Up, How to Have the Lifelong Marriage That You Really Want. So very excited about sharing today's topic and giving you some pointers on how to resolve conflict in your marriage without losing your temper. And I got this idea, I actually was in a marriage coaching conversation the other day with a couple, and the wife said, "Hey, next time when we talk, I would like you to teach us how to deal with conflict without blowing up, without getting angry, because that's my problem." And she said, "I admit it, I go there way too fast. I mean, we start talking about something and I just explode." So I started thinking about that. And actually, I was on a bike ride this morning and was thinking and just praying about, well, what am I going to tell this couple when we meet next? And I thought, well, this would be a great video because I'm sure there are a lot of people who have this same question. How do we resolve conflict without blowing up, without losing our tempers, without exploding all over each other and then hurting each other in the process? So let's look at it this way. Well, first off, what I want to say is that all of us struggle with this. I've struggled with this. I know my wife has struggled with this. So we've had this issue in our marriage, and I'm sure just about everybody, every married couple that's listening to this, you've probably struggled with it too. And why is that? Well, it's because we're all a work in progress. God is not done with us yet. He's working inside of us, and he's fixing us and healing us, I should say, not fixing. That sounds crazy, but healing us from the inside out as we follow him and serve him. So here's the thing. The first thing, how do you resolve conflict in your marriage without losing your temper? First, what you need to do is lay the groundwork, okay? And I'm going to give you some thoughts on how to do that. And then following the groundwork stuff, I have 7 quick points on how to have the conversation, okay? So here are the groundwork things. First off, make a commitment and an understanding that you will deal with things when they're small and not let them get big. So bring this up to your spouse. Maybe watch this video together and say, "Hey, honey, why don't we do this? Can we agree to deal with things when they're small instead of letting them build up and become big things?" Now, no one likes confrontation. No one likes to be told that they're messing up, that they're doing something wrong. And certainly, it's difficult to bring those things up. Okay. So chances are for a lot of people, what happens is that we just let stuff build up. And it's kind of like a trash bag. And you just keep stuffing things inside the bag. You keep stuffing it in, stuffing it in, stuffing it in. And guess what? Depending on the size of the bag, eventually it explodes. It breaks. You can't take it anymore. So then you have this huge explosion. Why? Because there's been so much anger building up, so much frustration, so much, unmet needs and feeling misunderstood and not feeling understood, all of these things building up. So make a commitment to each other to deal with things when they're small instead of letting them build up. The second thing I want to encourage you to do is make a commitment to understand first, then resolve the problem. Make a commitment to understand the problem before you try to resolve the problem. So here's what a lot of couples do. They go right into problem solving mode. And if you've ever been in a conversation where somebody gets angry and they keep repeating themselves, what do you think is going on there? Well, what I think is happening is that that person probably doesn't feel understood. And if someone doesn't feel understood, first off, that's going to make them angry. Secondly, they're going to keep repeating themselves over and over again because they want you to get how upset they are, how hurt they are, how angry they are. And they're just going to keep on going over and over again. And the more they repeat themselves, what does that do to you? It makes you angry, right? It does me. I hate it when people repeat themselves. So here's the key, and I'll talk about how to do this in just a moment. But when you commit to understand instead of resolve, instead of problem solve first. So when my wife brings an issue to me, okay, what I try to do is maintain my cool and simply listen to understand. What is she upset about? What's wrong? And then listen to that and understand it. And I'll tell you how in just a moment. But then the same way when I bring something to her, I want, she wants to understand what my issue is, what my struggle is, what my challenge is. And then once we understand each other, what we're able to do then is resolve it. So that's how this works. Make a commitment to understand first, then resolve. And then finally, make a commitment to call a timeout if things get heated. What is a timeout? A timeout is not sweeping it under the rug. A timeout is that what you want to do is say, hey, wait a minute. Things are starting to get you're starting to feel this anger build up, okay? And you're going to explode. You're going to say something and do something you regret later. So you don't want to get to that point. When things you start getting upset and it starts building, then what you need to do is say, let's take a timeout. What is a timeout? It is a predetermined amount of time. So it could be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, a half an hour. It could be an hour. Could be, let's pick this up tomorrow. Okay. But basically, figure maybe 30 minutes. Okay. And so it's a promise though to come back. See, a lot of times people get afraid of the timeout because they don't want things just swept under the rug where, we're going to talk about it now. And if it doesn't get resolved, it's just going to get lost in all of the busyness of life. And we're never going to circle back and deal with this issue. And it's just going to continue to be there and fester. Well, if you don't deal with it, then you need to bring it up, okay? The person who brought it up the first time needs to bring it up again. But basically what a timeout does is that it allows you to step back, calm down, and the best way to do that, by the way, is to maybe take some deep breaths or take a drink of water. That is a great thing to do, a drink of water, because what's going to happen is it's going to reset things in your brain, and then you're going to be able to come back and have a good conversation without the anger and the destructive emotion. Okay, so those are the three things. Deal with things when they're small, make a commitment to understand first, then resolve, and then commit to a timeout if things get heated. Here, by the way, is some great instruction from God's word. In James 1:19, it says this, "My dear brothers, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry." Well, how do you do that? Okay. Well, the tips I'm going to give you right now are going to give you some ways to do that. So, here's a few thoughts on how to have those kind of confrontation conversations, those conflict conversations, and resolve the conflict. So there's something that bugs you, something that's not working out right, something that you want to bring up to your spouse. Okay. The first thing is to think about and ask for the time. Think about the best time to bring this up. If your wife works a long shift, my wife works 12-hour shifts at her hospital. When she gets home, that is not a good time for me to bring up, a big issue like this, because I know it's not going to go well because she's tired. She's not thinking about, things. She just wants to relax. And, anyways, it's not a good time. So what I'm going to do first, if I have something to bring up, is say, hey, there's something I want to talk to you about. Can we do that tomorrow morning? Or I'll just go ahead and ask her. So sometimes you can schedule in advance. Hey, I need a few minutes of your time tomorrow. When's a good time? And then, you agree on a time. Or then just wait until there is a good time and then just bring it up. Hey, can we talk about something? Okay, what's going on? So The second thing you want to do is you want to prepare. So number one was pick a good time. Number two, prepare. Think through what you want to say. What do you want changed? What happened? What hurt your feelings? If something you want to see happen different is reasonable, is it reasonable? Okay. You might even want to write it down. You might even want to write a script. Now, you're not going to read the script, but you're going to think through, what do I want to say? And then number three is you're going to start the conversation with a why. Why do you want to bring this up? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because you want to have a better relationship with your husband or your wife, right? I hope that's the reason why. If you know, so you start with that. Hey, I want to be close to you. I want to have a great marriage. I want to be yeah, I want to have a great experience with you. I want things to be good between us. However you want to say it, but basically, you set the context. You could also start by saying how much you appreciate your husband or your wife. Hey, thank you so much for all that you're doing, going to work and paying the bills and taking care of things with the kids and all this stuff like this. You want to appreciate them. And what those two things do, okay, is they lower the person's defenses. Why? Because even though the next thing you're going to say, you don't want to come off as an attack. And so you want that person to be at peace, to be at ease, and to know that you're here for them on their behalf, okay? That you want that what you want to have is a productive conversation, that something's actually going to get changed, that something's actually going to be fixed in your relationship, that's going to make it stronger, that's going to make it better, okay? So what's next? Number 4, clearly state your issue and how it makes you feel. And the formula to do that is to use an I statement. I statement goes like this. I feel, and then you fill in the blank. When you, and then you fill in the blank. Now, the reason you want to start with I is because this is about how you feel. This is about how it landed for you when your spouse said that. This is about how you felt when he or she did that, okay, did something. So if they're home late without telling you, whatever. It could be a little thing, it could be a big thing. When they don't pick up after themselves, when they don't spend time with you and the family, I feel like I'm not special to you. I feel neglected. I feel abandoned. I feel hurt. I feel frustrated. I feel angry. All of these things I feel when you, and then you want to share. What is it that they're doing? Now, you don't feel bad because they're bad. You're not calling that person a loser, a liar, a failure. All you're saying is that there's something that they're doing isn't working for you. And here's how it makes you feel. And then following that, you make a request. And I love the word request there, because a request is not a demand, nor are you giving an order. And in many of my videos, I talk about don't make demands and don't give orders. Don't treat your husband or your wife like one of your kids, where you're going to just, hey, you know what? Do this, do that. Don't do this, don't do that. You want to make a request, and a request is always a question, and a question always ends with a question mark. And then, of course, you can add the word please. So would you please, what? Call if you're going to be late. Would you please, what? What else? What is the issue? Would you please, keep your voice down? Or would you please think through what you want to say to me before you get started? Would you please not yell at me? Or whatever it is that they're doing that is really concerning you. Then you want to, number 5, if you're the person receiving the confrontation, you want to be patient and seek to understand. How do you do that? So first off, put your natural tendency to respond on hold. If you want to interrupt, if you want to try to fix it, if you want to try even to jump in and give an apology without listening to the complaint or the issue, is premature, and that will not work either. Okay, so you really want to understand before you respond. And the best way to do that is to obviously listen, and then listen with the idea of, I'm going to repeat back what I just heard you say. So you're listening, you're thinking about it, you're thinking about what they feel, and then you respond back. And you repeat their concern using your own words and then their feelings. What I hear you saying is that you don't like it when or you feel, frustrated when et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you would like me to change that. Is that it? And you really want to make sure, because they're like, no, that's not it. This is what I want. And then you could ask clarifying questions, but the big thing here is don't interrupt. And when you seek to understand, what you're doing is you are validating their concern and their emotions. You're not giving an excuse, you're not making an explanation, but you're simply just hearing what they have to say. Okay, then depending on what it is, number 6 is you offer, and then if you're the other person, you're going to accept an apology. An apology is so important. I'm sorry. I failed. I let you down. I didn't mean to hurt you. I love you. All of these words are incredibly important, that you say them and that they're understood. And then the last thing here is that depending on what the issue is, you either make a commitment to change or you brainstorm a solution. So a commitment to change is simply this: I'm so sorry, honey, that I said that or did that. I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay, so make a commitment to change. The other thing is, I'm so sorry that you feel like that. What can we do about this problem? Because this is bigger than just me, although I admit that I handled it wrong. But what can we do to, fix this thing and work on this together? So you want to brainstorm a solution if that is what's required. Anyways, the point here is this, is that if you want to resolve conflict in your marriage without losing your temper, have a non-emotional conversation. And by non-emotional, remember, emotions are good, but emotions can also be damaging. And the way you're going to get to resolution is to express yourself and express those emotions, but without being emotional. So maybe that's another topic for another video. But the point is that you want to express yourself. Here's how that made me feel. And then would you please? And here's why I want to talk about this, because I want to be close to you. I want us to have a better relationship. I want to have a great marriage with you. And then, you come up with a solution. But you can resolve conflict in your marriage without losing your temper. Hey, well, I hope this is helpful for you. If it is, please like, share, comment, review, rate. I don't know, what are the different things, different ways that you can respond to these things in the platform that you're enjoying this recording with. So do all of those things. Do some kind of response to this. Also, let me know if there's any thing I can help you with. I'm going to put my phone number in the text here, the description, and you can give me a call and schedule an appointment with me, and we can have a free coaching session, and I can explain to you what marriage coaching is all about. Also, shoot me a question. What kind of things would you like me to talk about on these videos? The other thing you can do is join my free Facebook group. I'll put the link in the notes as well. And then finally, check out my website, turnitup.coach. Turn It Up, which is the name of my book. Turn It Up, How to Have the Lifelong Marriage That You Want. Here's the book. So check that out. Get a copy of this from my website, which is turnitup.com. I'm sorry, turnitup.coach. And anyways, I pray that this was helpful. I pray that God blesses you and blesses your marriage. That's it for now. I'm Kelly DuPay, pastor, police chaplain, marriage coach, and author of the book, Turn It Up, How to Have the Lifelong Marriage That You Really Want. God bless you. Until next time, I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.